evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's launch broadcast for WolfeSat-T2 mission. We are currently about 3.5 minutes until liftoff. Still tracking an on-time liftoff here at the end of the window. Sorry for the late notice of notifications. We forgot about starting the webcast and notifying, but we are here. Now we do have about 5 minutes left of the window tonight. The window extends all the way to 10:05 p.m. Central Time. If we are able, so we can hold for about 5 minutes if necessary. Tonight's mission is a dedicated mission for WolfeSat. It is a test mission to polar orbit, which is a special orbit. This is the first time this vehicle is gone. The Exodus rocket is going into a polar orbit. We have had a clean count all the way to where we are at currently. Teams are currently going through the count to make sure everything is good, and if we need to hold it at T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds for any reason, which I will relay that to you if needed. Okay, it seems like the team has entered a little bit of a hold. We're going to listen and see if we can figure out why they entered the short hold. This whole point again, this at T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds is the last possible point to call a hold. If there's a hold called at any point after this point, it would be an automatic scrub. So due to the nature of flight, it is best to hold the count at 1 minute and 30 seconds instead of scrubbing at T-minus any time. So what will be happening after if we reset the count tonight, the teams will check to make sure we're at T-minus at T-minus 1 minute and 10 seconds, the vehicle will have control of the count. T-minus 60 seconds, the FTS will power up, become activated, and T-minus 55 seconds, that's when it really is armed, and is go for launch at T-minus 45 seconds. That is when the final range gives the go. At T-minus 30 seconds, range verifies go, and then at T-minus 20 seconds, that's when the trophies ignite, which you might not be able to see, but you might be able to hear. At T-minus 5 seconds, the engines ignite on the first stage, and then T0 vehicle liftoff. So that'll be happening after this 1 minute and 30 seconds. If we can clear the hole, again, there's a major if. So the teams are looking into it and relaying the information we have as soon as it comes available. So it seems to be that the reason for the hold is for upper level winds. And they're looking at it to see if they can clear it. Could be upper level winds. It seems like it is just above the maximum wind point. So if they can tell that it will be low enough for launch, then we'll be able to continue and proceed with the flight. But they are again looking at that data. See what happens. So good news is it seems that teams are ready to resume the count. Should be happening here any second now. So let's listen. Let's wait for that confirmation of countdown is being resumed. Countdown has been resumed. There you have it. Countdown has been resumed. With that, we're going to leave you with the live views of the rocket. I'm going to give you a couple more information. So coming up here, if you've just joined us, coming up here, T minus 1 minute and 10 seconds is going to be startup, which goes and so now, so the range will be given their final check journey soon. The range has been verified go. So they're clear to proceed. Seems like the upper level ones have been calmed down enough for launch. Waiting for the LD's go for launch. And the LD is going to go for launch. We're going to listen in into the terminal count. Let's watch today's launch. We'll see after launch. T plus 36 seconds into flight. The vehicle is performing nominally as we are ascending through the air. We will shortly be coming up on max Q. Which should be coming up here about T plus 1 minute. And in about 2 minutes in the flight. Here you can see the vehicle trying to control where it's going. Now it's a little slow during the main part of flight. So that's usually why most of our flights have been waiting to start the pitch over maneuver till later in the flight. Later, but with this one, we're just trying to start pitch over a little earlier. And we are trying to make sure that we are following the proper flight profile. So that's what we are looking for. We're waiting for the confirmation that we passed through max Q. It seems like we have passed through max Q. Next up will be main engine cutoff, stage separation, and second engine start. That should happen about T plus 4 minutes, around that point. Again, we are approaching that main engine cutoff here shortly. Go. There's stage separation. And there's second engine start. And full power on second stage. Here you can see the booster. On its way on its flight. Back to the ground again. They're attempting recovery of that first stage. They're also coming up on that fairing separation. See anytime. And there goes the fairings. On today's missions, we're going polars, polar orbit. which really does not mean anything. It just might take a little longer to get into the orbit that we need. Our target orbit, deployment orbit, is about 110 to about 90 kilometers. Once they all get deployed, once the satellites get deployed, they will separate from each other using their onboard propulsion by descending their orbit to about 90 kilometers by 90 kilometers. On your left, you can see that stage 1 is coasting. You also might sometimes see little puffs coming out of the first stage. Okay, for this flight, we've actually added nitrogen. We've added nitrogen thrusters to orient the vehicle better when it's outside of the atmosphere, because those grid fins really don't do anything after they're outside of the atmosphere. I didn't even realize it, but we've had second engine cut off. Now, you do see SES2 and SECO2 on a little ticker on the side. We are not having another Stage 2 burn. Just due to forgetting about the webcast and not being ready. We didn't have time to change that to remove that. So it's kind of, see there, you can see it. You can see the booster moving over to its right attitude for re-entry. See, it's starting to lose signal. Yeah. See, we lost signal. Don't worry. We're not done yet. Still have plenty to go. Actually, just gonna set those as green. We're coming up here at about T plus 10 minutes. We'll be starting the payload deployment sequence for the 16 satellites on board on the second stage. We're deploying them from top to bottom. That should be happening any second. That deployment sequence should be happening any second now, and should be deployed 2 every 5 seconds. And that should happen about T plus 10 minutes and 30 seconds. There goes the stack. Over the next couple of weeks, That stack will be separate each satellite one by one to make sure that to make sure that the satellites get separated equally, and that is the conclusion of our webcast. Just stay tuned to our social medias about updates on when that satellite sequence is complete. If you can hear me, because apparently the music was on. But thanks for hanging out with us tonight, and we'll see you at the next launch, which should be later this week for WolfeSat-1. For what mission is it? See you next week later this week for WolfeSat 1 slash NROL, not slash Iridium mission. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.